Welcome back to Keeping Up with the X-Men, where we try to keep up with the X-Men. And today is X-Men Gold 19. Pretty good cover here. Solid. Nice. I like it. No worries here. The back here is ripping out. They're on a spaceship. Obviously, they're getting pulled out into the, or rather blown out into space, is I believe the proper term. Let's get into Throwdown, because like I said before, that's pretty much what these books have been. It starts off with Kologoth being all blah blah, feel sorry for me, my life was hard, my mother threw me away, I was a mutant, I was ridiculed, blah blah blah, world ending, yada yada, rhetoric, blah 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 blah. Keep crying, bitch. Sorry, not supposed to be dropping curses in here, but nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like, he laughs maniacally, he's a bad guy, there's the big evil god thing, and it's tearing things up, and people are shooting at it, and now we're going to have to fight it, and the X-Men, of course, spring into action. Logan pops his claws and starts fighting with Kologoth, while the rest of the X-Men take to the sky to try to fight this god thing. This god thing makes pretty quick work of him, throwing him around, making him into a joke and everything. They get pretty good hits here and there, but for the most part, it's not working out, and at the same term, Old Man Logan isn't exactly working out either. He's doing nothing but taking hits, basically. And he gets a couple of good hits himself, and he even gets one really good where he stabs him in the back of the head. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Kologoth could be dead from it, from what I'm looking at right here. I mean, he hits the ground. That could be the end of that character. We didn't have a whole lot of time with him, but the X-Men retreat. Because giant, evil, crazy god thing. And they take with him the main general, the lover, Kologoth's husband person. And they get to talking with him, and he's like, I didn't realize that this is what we were doing. And he's like, I thought this was a different cause. I thought we were going for something else here. He's like, this isn't something that I wanted. It isn't something that I want. And he's like, I swear I will help you. I'll do whatever I can to help you. And he's trying to figure out how they originally got this creature to be in a statue. And they're trying to figure some things out. They finally get a spaceship. They get an idea. It's kind of a crazy one. But they're going to use Nightcrawler to pilot the spaceship. Now, the way that these ships work is they're kind of linked on a mental level. So it takes some of his actual physical prowess and mental concentration. And since he's pretty badly wounded, he's not able to fly it that great. Kitty has a crazy idea, and it's kind of a good one. They hook her up to this cable, and they have her jump out of this ship. And this is a good idea for what it's worth. She phases through Scythian, or however you're supposed to say his name, and then she does like this, and she lets the cable go, and then the cable is still stuck inside of him, because she phased through with it. And then that cable kind of pulls back and it turns into a hook, and that grabs him, and they plan to just drag him into space. They plan to just be rid of him, because screw that guy. So some of the ship starts to buckle. The cable is kind of having trouble holding the tension. Colossus tries to reinforce it, grabs a hold of it, and pushes it back as best as he can. And then Kitty goes down there to offer help. It's a good thing that she went down there, but I don't really think that she's adding any real strength. She kind of phases him so that when the cable starts whipping around and everything like that, it doesn't knock him out into space. That's pretty much why she actually went down there. So there's that. And then they drag him out into space just like they planned to, and they dropped him into this vortex up in space. And they're like, screw you. And then they try to get away from the vortex. It's pretty bad. The vortex has a massive pull, and they can't get the ship away from the vortex. It takes everything Nightcrawler has. When they finally get the ship moving back into orbit, he's sustained too much damage, and the ship has sustained too much damage, and they crash on the planet. And that will begin our next storyline, where I guess the X-Men Gold are not going home. The next storyline is called Marooned, and they are, in fact, marooned on this planet for a while. And I'm curious what that's going to be about, how long they're going to be here and whatnot. I'm kind of looking forward to them going back to Earth, to be honest with you. I don't mind the space epics. Sometimes they work for X-Men. In fact, surprisingly, they work most of the time. But for right now, it's okay. I don't mind this story. And when I read it, it's high octane, it's exciting, it's throwdown, it's nice. It's an action movie. And that works for me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed everything that I read so far. But when you talk about a book like this, when you're trying to review and the only thing there is to really say is there was throwdown, that's the reason the X-Men Gold videos have been so short. And that's the reason I really haven't had anything to say, like any... Normally, I'm able to come up with rants and extra stuff and kind of drop history or whatever whenever I happen to know about something. But for right now, there really hasn't been much to say because, quite frankly, they're just punching and kicking. But for what it's worth, those were the X-Men Gold books. I finally caught up to where I actually am in the X-Men Gold. So you are now all caught up with the X-Men Gold, and we will be starting Blue next. So, see you later.